Awesome.
Welcome everyone to this first Global Simulcast for CEO. I'm Teresa Gatting and I'm the country lead for New Zealand, and I'm here with my friend Chris Woodward, and we're on Waiheke Island, Auckland, New Zealand, and for us it's the morning of September 15th, Friday morning, because of course New Zealand leads the world, just as it did in Votes for Women. So it's fantastic to be with you all at this event, and I just first of all want to start by really paying tribute to Vicky and her awesome vision. And I heard her speak a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, in the US, and I thought immediately that this could work in New Zealand. And it seems like only yesterday that I went up to her and encouraged her to come to New Zealand, which she did just over a year later. And we had such a terrific conference, a terrific reception. We had a huge waiting list by the time she left the shores a few days later, and we got going with CEO in New Zealand. And so for me, that journey was fantastic. And it culminated, we didn't quite make 500 in our first year, but it culminated in 442 activators for round one, and a fantastic first conference down in this part of the world last April, about the same time that we'll be doing it next, this coming year. And for us, it was really a chance to actually do something practical and action-oriented. It's all very well to be a feminist, it's all very well to be a business person and to want to do something to bring those two paradigms together. When I heard Vicky I realised I didn't need to create an idea myself. Here was something that could scale up, that could go global. And for me, it's amazing that on top of Canada and US, Australia's now come on board along with New Zealand. And the funding that Vicky's managed to procure in the last year means that we really are just at the beginning of the next leap of her vision to really take it global. So we had great fun last year getting ventures to apply, and we came up with several ventures which represent different facets of New Zealand. New Zealand's an agrarian economy based around a large city. If you think of New Zealand as sort of a Auckland plus one large farm, dairy farm unfortunately, but anyway, you'd be about right. Of course, the South Island where Chris lives, the scenery is absolutely stunning, but it's a real mixture of sophistication and very laid-back values. So I knew that the message of CEO, which is that business is an honourable thing. It's based on the disciplines of doing something that people will buy, that communities will support. And you support it not just by money, but by your active participation as a customer, an advocate, mentor, and all the ways that new businesses need to support in order to flourish. And we are really getting off the wagon of blaming men or blaming the situation or in any way being a victim about the fact that women's businesses, women-led businesses, is so hard to go from seed capital to the next stage, so hard to get funding. And we are a bunch of women doing it for ourselves and doing it in a way in which we are calling on and joining all our sisters and our mothers to support us. Because at $1,100 a contribution, it's possible for many, many women to be part of what really is a revolution. But it's like going forward and taking the values from the past that actually are essential to a healthy planet. As you can see, Chris and I are sitting here in this most beautiful spot, and yet New Zealand struggles with now quality of its water. There is no place in the world that hasn't in some way been damaged by our current modes of operating in business and in the rest of our life. And so we today stand here on the edge of making history. In our case, it's making her story. It's a complete tipping upside down the idea that big is better and devil most take the consequences. It's actually about growing companies that are providing unmet needs and doing something good for our communities, our countries, and our planets at the same time. So that's enough of a welcome from me. I'm now going to throw to one of our wonderful ventures from our year one, 2017, which is a company called Sheer Warmth.
Here we are in the rolling hills of King County, New Zealand, where CEO venture Sheer Warmth and their sheep farm is based.
This is the workshop. We've now got 6 machines. We started with.
Sheer Warmth is owned and operated by farmers Lynn and Monique Neeson, mother and daughter-in-law duo.
This is our window display showroom. See the window out there? To show people our range of blankets.
And from the rolling hills of rural New Zealand, now coming to you live from CEO HQ in Toronto, Canada. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we're based is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit First Nation, the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, and home to many diverse Indigenous peoples. We honor all the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people who have been living on the land since time immemorial. Hello everyone, I'm Jessie Wong, and on behalf of the CEO team, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our first ever global Radical Generosity Simulcast. Whether you're a 4-time activator, a CEO venture applicant, or someone just learning about CEO for the first time, thank you so much for joining us for this historic moment. This is the first time that we've gathered our global community online. From Ireland to India, from Bermuda to the Philippines. Today we have over 500 women registered online and hundreds more attending viewing parties in their local communities. Type in the chat box and let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you. And throughout the next hour, we would love for you to amplify the message of radical generosity on social media and with your network. Whether you're watching at home in your PJs, depending on your time zone, or if you're at work and gathered with a group of colleagues, take a photo and post it on social media. Please remember to tag CEO and to use the hashtag radical generosity so that we can continue the conversation online. Today's simulcast marks the official launch of our 2018 Radical Generosity campaign. But first, for those who are new, let me explain what that means. CEO launched in 2015 to radically transform the way that we fund, support, and celebrate women entrepreneurs. In 2017, only 2% of venture capital funding went to women. And for women of color, the stats are far lower, only 0.002% to women of color. We believe that the only way this will dramatically change is if we as women start stepping up and funding one another. So here's how the CEO model works. In each country per year, we gather 500 radically generous women who we call activators. Each activator contributes $1,100 to the fund. Then each year, hundreds of women entrepreneurs apply to receive the funding, and activators go online to vote and select which ventures will support. Those selected ventures receive the funding in the form of a 0% interest loan, which they pay back over the course of 5 years. And as the money is paid back into the fund, we loan it out again to support more and more women entrepreneurs each year. Thanks to the support of our CEO activators, we are creating perpetual funds in countries around the world, which will be used to support generations of female entrepreneurs, our daughters and our granddaughters. Since launching in 2015, 3,000 women activators in Canada, New Zealand, and the US have collectively contributed $3 million to support 32 women-led ventures. And we just launched in our 4th country, pictured here, Australia. So shout out, I can see some hands waving, shout out to our newest Aussie activators and their viewing parties that are currently happening on Friday morning in Sydney and in Brisbane. Today, you'll have an opportunity to hear from activators and ventures in the network and the impact that being part of a radically generous community has had on them. If you're interested in applying to become a 2018 CEO venture, or if you're interested in becoming an activator and helping fund these incredible women entrepreneurs, activation and applications are now open on our website, www.sheo.world. At the end of the simulcast, we have a few very special announcements for you, including the sharing of the total activator numbers live across the 4 countries, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the US. So if you're interested in activating, now is a great time to do so, www.sheo.world. And with that, I'm delighted to throw it to one of our SheEO Ventures, Chelsea Berganti from Lollyware. One moment, please. Apologies for the technical difficulty. It turns out trying to host a live webcast across dozens of women in 4 countries can be a little bit challenging. So we will try to throw it now to 21 Toys, Alana, based in Toronto.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? See me? Yes? Okay. All right. Let's do this. I made a sign because I didn't feel like holding it. So if anyone wants to find me later, this is me. Yes, thank you, Jesse. It's amazing to be part of this global community and live simulcast. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm Alana from 21 Toys. I'm from the first ever Canadian cohort, coming to you live from Toronto. For those of you that haven't heard of 21 Toys, we design and manufacture toys that teach empathy and failure and other 21st century skills. We're in thousands of schools and offices worldwide. Since receiving the support from the SheEO community, we've been able to build out our workshop and training offerings for our empathy toys. So we've been able to both increase our revenue by about 500%, because it turns out that empathy is the #1 job skill, which is quite nice both for companies and schools, but also just hopefully making the world a better place. We also, thanks to the Activator community, were able to meet with one of our biggest corporate clients and have since joining, not just being part of SheEO, but getting connected to the Bank of Montreal. We've been able to sign a multi-year 6-figure partnership with a number of contacts and connections, and our toys are going to be used with over 40,000 of their leaders, embedding empathy into how they train their leaders. A shout out obviously to Sherry Griffiths and Julie Barker-Mertz for those intros, and also to Janice Souza, who's an activator who connected with us just this year and not only helped me build out our sales pipeline, because I like to say that everything is still quite organic. We've never really had anyone on the team that's thought through the sales pipeline in a really specific way. She's not only helped us launch that, but we're also launching an empathic leadership program for schools. So the empathic leadership program we have designed for top business leaders, we're now bringing those to high schools around the world. And very quickly, because we were part of SheEO, not only was I able supported in production and growing the team, but I was also able to sleep. And sleep means that I got some time to get back to what I love. I'm a designer first and foremost, as well as an entrepreneur. And so our biggest update is that I finally finished our failure toy, which is behind me. So yay! It's a totally huge secret that I've been telling everyone about because we finished it June 21st. We ran our first failure toy workshop. I have the toy behind me. So all of our toys are these abstract collaborative games that in 5 to 15 minutes bring out huge insights into how you navigate anything from empathy. Now we've got it to failure as well. So I'm happy to connect offline after that, but I wouldn't be able to get off of here without mentioning that not only are we one of the ventures, but I have now been an activator since I've been able to. So being part of this community has not just enriched my life and the life of my team, but I genuinely believe in the power of this network, and that not only are we like the pioneers in this and we're making it, we're really setting the stage for the next generation. But if you're thinking of becoming an activator, I wouldn't wait. I would do it now. And if you're thinking of being a venture, it was one of the most impactful, important moments in my business life and my personal life. And so I would very much encourage anybody to apply today. And thanks again for welcoming me into this community. So with that being said, I know that we mixed the orders a little bit. Should I say we're throwing it back to Lollyware? We're not sure. Jessie will let us know.
We're now going to turn it over. Thank you so much, Alana, who's, as she mentioned, both an activator and a venture. We're now going to turn it over to activator Jen Simpson, based in Colorado. Over to you, Jen.
I can't hear it, Jen. Oh my God. Jen's sound is down. Okay, coming back to you, Jen.
What do I do next?
Let's go to. Let's go. Jesse, go.
Sorry, Jen, we weren't able to hear you. But we got a nice comment from Janice, who loves the background of your office. And now we're going to go to Sonia in Vancouver.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to steal 30 seconds back then. I'll make it
Hello.
quick.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? This is Sonia in Vancouver. Hi. So this is Sonia Strobel at Skipper Auto's community-supported fishery in beautiful Vancouver, BC. Hello, CEO World. Thanks for having me. Great to see you all. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Skipper Autos is a sustainable seafood subscription service that connects small-scale independent fishing families like mine to folks all across Canada so that you can access beautiful, sustainable seafood from our waters here in Vancouver. I don't know if you know this, but the seafood industry is a hot mess. It is full of exploitation, environmental degradation, fraud, seafood fraud. Study after study shows that 40 to 50% of the seafood that you can get in the grocery store or in the restaurant is not what it says it is. And so we're fighting against all of that. We're a radical departure from the seafood industry, business as usual. In our business, we have 2,400 members across Canada who pre-purchase the catch of over 30 fishing families here in BC. And pre-purchasing from our families means that we all have a living wage. We're paid a living wage for our catch, and that our members get access to traceable, fully traceable, sustainable BC seafood. So it's a great program. CEO has been an amazing part of what we've been doing since I was in the same cohort as Ilana 3 years ago. And so I'm down here at the Falls Creek Fisherman's Wharf in our pick and pack facility, and I chose this spot because I wanted to show you a little bit of the impact that the CEO has had on us. So when we received our funding, the first thing actually that we did was we brought in-house label making so that we could print on every piece of seafood that we have the face and the name of who caught it, where, when, and how. And that's a really important part of the seafood traceability that we do. We also used our the loan that we received to build this. I'll turn so you can see it. We have a big walk-in freezer there behind us in our packing facility, and that's been a huge impact for us. It allowed us to really expand our reach all the way across Canada. So there's some of our folks back there packing orders. Hi. So we're really excited. Next big thing is that we're working on a sustainable seafood, a community seafood processing facility, and we're working with local First Nations and the federal government to increase the capacity for local seafood processing here in Canada. And that's just going to mean that more and more Canadians can access traceable, sustainable Canadian seafood. So we're really excited about all of those things. So stay tuned and listen for what's coming up next here from us at Skipper Autos. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in today. Like Ilana, I've been an activator in the CEO community since I was welcomed into the community 3 years ago, and it's just really been an amazing and life-changing experience for me as well. So if you're considering activating, considering applying as a venture, like Alana said, don't hesitate. It's been a really incredible experience. So thank you. As I understand, I'm handing it over to Dot in New Zealand next. If Dot's there, you're up.
Kia ora. Yes, Dot here from New Zealand, and it's fantastic to join you all. Here we go. I'm going the wrong way. And and we are so excited to be part of this amazing SheEO initiative. For us, it's been absolutely groundbreaking being involved with SheEO. So in our first quarter, we were able to report growth of 29%. And what that means is that we've been able to reach out and reach thousands more families who are suffering from eczema with our 100% natural pure peony range. It's also meant, though, that we've been able to support local businesses and also employ local staff, which is fantastic for a small rural town like ours. And it's actually led to us enabling another woman to start her own business up as well. So the growth is not just for us, it's actually through our whole rural community in New Zealand, which is absolutely awesome. I have to give a big shout out to all of the activators who basically took a leap of faith in coming on board with this amazing and inspiring SheEO initiative. It's awesome to be part of, and I encourage everybody to get involved with it, because for us, it's been absolutely a game changer. And unlike any other network I've ever been involved with, the support from activators on an ongoing basis is absolutely outstanding. So from everybody here in Nelson, New Zealand, I'm going to ask them all to join me in saying thank you. Thank you. And now back to Jessie at SheEO headquarters.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dot. And to everyone watching, thank you so much. Just like SheEO, doing this first global simulcast is a radical experiment. So we appreciate your understanding and your patience. And so from Dot in New Zealand and Nelson, we're now going to throw it over to another one of our 2015 SheEO ventures, Tony at Abigo. Okay, and so now, Jen, we're gonna go back and try and see, hopefully your sound is working back in Colorado.
Can you hear me now? Yay, excellent. So I said this before, I'll say it again. I've been an activator since 2015. I like to say I've been an activator since about hour 4. So I had the pleasure of both being in the tribe with Tony and Sonia and Alana and several other amazing ventures. I was in Toronto a week ago and got to see Magnus Mode's billboard up in the airport, and it's just been such an amazing journey to watch these amazing businesses take flight. After the first year of activating in Canada, I helped bring SheEO to the US in 2016. And when we started that experiment, only 5 ventures had been funded. And as of this year, we funded 32. We have given out $3.2 million in funding, and that money keeps giving back. One of the most powerful things about this model, from my perspective, is that that contribution that you make the first time, as it's paid back, as those loans get paid little by little, the money goes back into the fund, and ultimately will fund the businesses that our daughters launch someday. And for me, really getting to be shoulder to shoulder with these amazing businesses, I actually got to meet Tony in Nashville last week, and it felt like I was meeting an old friend. So the relationships and the partnerships that get built through this network have been nothing short of amazing. The spirit of radical generosity in the room is really what is powering this movement. This year, we're on track to fund 60 ventures, and that's done through your support. So I know I sent out messages to a whole lot of folks, some of whom are probably on the phone right now today, and that some of them chimed in right away saying, thanks for reminding me, I've reactivated. activating, providing that $1,100 contribution as an act of radical generosity not only helps to create this fund that supports amazing women-led businesses doing wonderful things all over the world, but it has you enter this community of support. I have picked up the phone and called folks that I never met before and gotten such wise counsel. I've reached out with questions about my business and gotten immediate answers. And mostly I've built an amazing community of friends. Someone commented on the photos behind me. These ladies have my back, but SheEO has my flank. And I just love being surrounded by this group. And if you haven't reactivated, or if you've never activated before and are thinking that maybe this year's the year, I hope you will, because we're on a rocket ship to do amazing things. And Jackie, and I think I'm throwing it to Vicki. So off to you, Vicki.
Is this true? I'm here. Can someone mute this one? For the first time in my life, I actually wrote what I'm going to say. Can you, everyone can hear me? For the first time in my life, I actually wrote what I'm going to say, which I never do. Hello. In 2015, 500 Canadian women took a chance on a radically different model to support female entrepreneurs. They stepped into their imagination, because I started every single sentence with imagine if, because it had never been done before. Imagine if we could do this together. And they believed that we could all do this together. We funded 5 incredibly special, tenacious, courageous women who have perfectly represented our values. Supported by thousands of activators, they are all growing their businesses, exporting, and not one of them has missed a loan payment. Women pay their debts. Nadia, Tony, Sonia, Alana, Susanna, Madeline, we love you. Thank you for kicking us off perfectly. And things got very interesting. We started to receive emails from all over the world, and we entered country number 2 with 4 incredible women that took us to market: Jennifer, Delilah, Julie, and Heather. Radically generous women in our network were so energized by this experience that they started to help each other. And we ended up launching an online community so they could all connect. This is something that we didn't think about at the beginning. We were funding female ventures, and then all of a sudden women were like, well, we want to help each other. We have businesses, or we are leaders, and we need mentors and support. So we become each other's customers and suppliers and marketers and amplifiers. It wasn't really clear at all after Canada and the US how we were going to scale this globally, until Teresa Gatton showed up from New Zealand and said, I want to be the first country outside of North America with this model. And everyone is born radically generous in New Zealand. With her incredible network and social capital built up over years of business success, she and her right arm, Chris, activated 442 activators, which is the equivalent of 8,000 activators in the US. Hello, US, guess what? When Julie Trell then left San Francisco as our city lead and moved to Australia, she talked about SheEO on every single panel for a year, resulting in 22 super activators joining her to launch Australia. What has become clear to me over time is that when women come together in support of one another, not only is anything possible, we are an unstoppable force for change. The world needs our leadership, our ideas, our collaboration, and our hearts. And women innovators everywhere need this model so that they can thrive on their own terms. Activating today creates a positive ripple effect this very minute that will roll out for years to come, for generations to come. So please, the way that this has grown from the very beginning is she told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, which if you're old enough to remember, that's a commercial from way back. On our first trip to New Zealand 2 years ago, something magical opened up. Before I spoke at Teresa's event, Maori elders charged up the room before inviting us in. It was a very emotional and energizing moment. After I spoke, one of the Maori elders approached me and said, "You are reviving the collective economy we once had." Since that moment, Indigenous women from every region that we've been to have been showing up to activate, to apply as ventures. We've funded 2 Indigenous entrepreneurs in Canada, and to guide us back to the ways of living in harmony with nature and with each other. I now pass the microphone to the first of 2 Aboriginal activators you'll hear from today. Carol?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Oh, do I need to go? Oh, sorry. All right, let me introduce myself. My name is Carol Vale. I'm sorry if we're having feedback. All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Carol Vale. I am a Dunghutti Gumbaynggirr woman from New South Wales, but I happen to be on the lands of the Darabul people, and so I pay my respects to them. I acknowledge their elders past and present, and I acknowledge my other Indigenous sisters across the lands and the waters, and it is good to be here. I've got all the Brisbane women looking at me. My business is, look, my message is very simple, and the reason I joined SheEO is because I want more Indigenous women from across our country and across the world to be part of a group that gives back to women, a group of women that will invest in women and grow our economic our economic baseline. My business is called Marawan. It means to be educated in the higher sense. In my Dunghutti language, it is about wisdom. It is about being responsible with that wisdom. And so my reason for joining SheEO is quite simple. I want women to invest in women. I want more of our Indigenous sisters to join with this amazing group of women from not just our country, but indeed across other countries. I want to contribute to growing the Indigenous female-led business sector in our country. It is timely. We have this amazing opportunity in our country now through the Indigenous procurement policies at the Commonwealth and the state level. So every government nationally and then jurisdictionally has been instructed to contribute to the growth of the Indigenous business sector. So I want that opportunity to be given to more of our women. If you invest in our women, you drive change in our communities like no other. So not only will you get fantastic products that we produce and sell, like my beautiful scarf, you will also get to drive change and break cycles of welfare dependency and disadvantage in our communities. And that's my absolute desire for being part of this magnificent group. What else do I need to say? Vicky, I love that you introduced us with the word imagine, because this is all about the imagination. If I grew up on an Aboriginal mission on the outskirts of Armidale, and as a child, I just imagined for another way. I lived there. The university was on the other side of town. It was my dream to go to that university, but it was like never the twain shall meet. Well, yes, the twain is meeting, and it is about us women, Indigenous women, joining with our non-Indigenous sisters and doing business well. We have amazing products from our beautiful scarves right through to, I think our sister girl coming up next is going to talk about owning an airline. So amazing. And so I really encourage Indigenous women from across the world to step into this space. To my Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander sisters looking into this, please come join me on this journey. It is an amazing journey. We have lots to share, just as our non-Indigenous sisters have a lot to share as well. I love the concept of the ask and the give, because I struggle to ask, and so I can now do that in a way that not only give and share, but that I can accept graciously the arcs that I give. So that's pretty much me, but let me just give a little bit of a shout out for the morning sky. My initiative, the initiative that I want to take to SheEO is called Titters in Business. It is about women coming together. Your titter is, she is that confidant, she is that woman, that girl that has your back, that will be with you and support you in your deepest, darkest moments, but she is the one that will just push you to you know, to be all that you can be and want to be. I wish you all well on your SheEO's journey, and I'd love to meet more of you along the way. Thank you.
I'm going to have one of these as well.
Hello, SheEO community. My name is Tira Fraser, and I'm a proud Métis woman. You are getting a sneak peek into the airplane that I just bought on Friday. I am launching a new airline March 8th, 2019, which is International Women's Day. I've chosen to name my airline Esqueo Air. Esqueo is a Cree word for woman. I've mindfully chosen the name as an act of reclamation of womanhood, matriarchal leadership, and language. Our vision is connecting people with each other and to the land. Just last night, I declared an intention into the future that I am a sweetgrass warrior, thriving as Canada's first Indigenous woman-owned airline, Esqueo Air. Woo! I love being part of the SheEO community. Incredible stories of strength, wisdom, warriorship, humanness, hope, and love are where we find the deepest of connections and a sense of belonging. And here at SheEO, I find all of that and some badass business buzz. I love it. So Jessie, I'm not sure whether the video is going to go and whether I should pause here or no video. No video. Okay, so I will tell you just a little bit about what I'm up to. Last Friday, I bought an airplane, and just to, you know, keep it in scope, it's just a wee little airplane. There's 8 seats in it, and I'm starting a company called Esqueo Air. Esqueo is a Cree word for woman, and I'm going to be, well, I guess I am, Canada's first Indigenous woman-owned airline. And our the vision of Esqueo is connecting people with each other and to the land. And our values, which I'm really proud of, I think they're pretty cool. Love and adventure, the warrior spirit, pardon me, and reciprocity and reclamation. So the name was chosen, Esqueo Air, again, a Cree word for woman, as an active reclamation of womanhood, matriarchal leadership, and language. So maybe even after we can find a way to share the video. I took it in my new little airplane, gave you guys a sneak peek, and that's all I have for you. I'll pass it back to Jessie, I guess. Thank you. Danse.
Thanks, Tira, and the video is great, and we'll be sure to share it online with everyone afterwards. Now I'd love to pass the mic to Margaret in Montreal.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? I am Margaret Magdasian, the founder of Ananda Devices, and I'm here with Guy. And he's super afraid because he's the only boy in the show so far. And I said, this is the real value of SHIO. You know, we are working together and to achieve important goals. So I'll paraphrase a bit of Vicky, and I said, imagine if we could bring new drugs faster to people suffering from Alzheimer's, Parkinson, multiple sclerosis, and other neurological disorders. So that's what I do. If you can show a bit the video of our lab. Unfortunately, we cannot image directly in the lab, but live, but I'm bringing you a video. That's me inside the microfab. That's how I build very small structures with very high precision in the nanoscale. And then I gave them to Luisa, who is our scientific director. Luisa takes the cells from the patients. You know, we take a biopsy from the skin, and she grows them in the lab using our devices, as you see there. And then we organize the cells exactly like they are organized in the brain. We make mini brains on a chip. And now the pharmaceutical industry can test drugs much faster and much more cost effectively with our products.
Hi everyone, I've been working for Ananda Device for almost 2 years now, and every morning I wake up very motivated to come here to work because I know the work we are doing here with your support can change lives. Thank you.
Thank you all for your support. We are here in Montreal. Thank you from my heart, SHIO. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, now it's Jessie in Toronto. Sorry, I forgot.
Thank you so much, Margaret. And now from Montreal, we're going to Sydney. And many of you heard that Australia was our 4th country, which we just launched a couple of months ago. And now Julie Trell, our Australia lead, is with our biggest simulcast viewing party. Over to you, Julie.
Woohoo! Can you hear us? Can you hear us over there? Okay. You're gonna hear me. I don't know where to start. I just want to let everyone know on the call that we've been cheering and clapping, and it's been very exciting. I was just at a conference yesterday and was with an Indigenous gentleman who is leading this new modality called Waiapu. And basically one of the things, the reason that we're doing what he's doing is taking care of the earth and the intergenerational responsibility and well-being for the earth. I saw that that's what we're doing here with an intergenerational responsibility and well-being for funding future women in business. I also need to give a big shout out to I need to give a big shout out to CBA and Telstra for funding the launch here. Since I became an activator in 2016 with Jen, with Holly, with Delilah, and with Heather, looking at you, abundance started to happen for me. All these things started happening. This wonderful job that just showed up. I got to move to Australia. And I said, I'm not going to launch CEO here until we have $100,000. And $100,000 showed up thanks to Telstra and CBA. And I also want to mention they're sponsoring this breakfast along with Google. A shout out also to Monica up in Brisbane and all of the other super activators in Melbourne, in Victoria, over in Northern Territory. So it's been great. I like to describe, the reason I got involved is I wanted to be a pioneer in this new model. I call Vicky the lone nut. She's no longer lone. She still may be a nut doing this, and I wanted to be a pioneer and beginning of this venture, and I hope you will all join me. I call this the gateway drug to investing. So you have an opportunity to see what it's like to invest your capital, your buying power, and your network, and abundance will happen. I have made an incredible network of friends here. The women that have showed up in my life, both in San Francisco. Hi, Melinda, if you're up there, Melinda and Amelia, and all you guys up there, and all of the women down here that have shown up just as passionate, just as infectious, just as awesome. And we're also going to be a little competitive here. We've got great momentum. We know that there's the competition of whichever state has the most activators is going to have the summit on April 1st. Australia, save the date. Monica, we're looking at you. Victoria, they're doing quite well, but right now, New South Wales in the house. All right. Not only are we going to have inter-country competition, we're also going to be the first country that gets to 600 first. Got this? So I encourage you all to invite, share the message, share the word, find both activators as well as ventures that might be interested. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Emily, back up to yesterday in Canada.
Welcome back to Canada, everyone. Welcome to Newfoundland. My name is Emily, and I'm the CDO of Succeed. We're a hydroponic social enterprise that evolved out of the Enactus volunteer program. So we build hydroponic grow tanks that are all built by the hands of at-risk and homeless youth. So they allow you that regardless of where you are in the world, you can produce fresh vegetables for less than 30 cents per day. So some exciting news, we moved into a new office this week. So we're going to show you our hubby. So we have a couple of things over here. We have our hydroponic systems here, growing some fresh peppers in here. So you can get fresh peppers no matter where you are. We have some lovely strawberries over here. And now we're going to update you on what we've been up to. So since you last saw us in March, we've grown from 1 person to 5. So we have Andrea here. And then we also have our head of operations is with all of you guys in Toronto. And we have a full-time person in Denmark. So in a couple of months, we've expanded not just across Canada, but globally. Our systems right now, we have 1,000 that are operating across Canada. We've been quite busy. We took home Startup Fest Best Pitch of the Year this year, which was super exciting, but also expanding into elementary schools across Canada and doing a lot of exciting work. And we want to share one more piece of exciting news. We're actually, because of the funding that we have gotten through SheEO, not only do we grow our team, but we're growing our product line. We're actually launching Succeed 2.0 systems just before Christmas this year. And you guys are going to be the first people to see them. So these are what our new systems are going to look like. So stay tuned, and back to you, Jessie.
Thank you so much, Emily, for sharing your story and for sharing those exciting announcements with us. It's Jessie Wong. Maybe I'll hold my sign up the right way. Oh, back at SheEO HQ in Toronto, Canada, with a very special announcement. At SheEO, we recognize the work we are doing to support and embolden women is culture change. And with culture change, it often takes a generation. 2 years ago, one of our Activators' daughters, Ellie Kennedy, saw her mom, Deb, go through the Activator journey, funding and contributing to support those women entrepreneurs, going online and reviewing the venture applications, and then supporting the ventures on their journey. So then last year, inspired by her mom, Ellie started the first ever SheEO club in her high school. She gathered 45 of her friends and peers, and together they became one group activator and reviewed the venture applications and voted together as a group. We started telling this story everywhere we went, and now we are starting a SheEO high school program called RadGen in high schools across Ontario, Canada. We have a very special 2 guests, 2 of the young women who have been helping co-create and design this program with us, who will share a little bit of news. Come on over.
Hello, I'm Dila. Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm going to be talking about what RadGen means to me. RadGen means a lot to me because my mom is both an entrepreneur and an activator and such a successful, amazing woman that I want to follow in her path. And hopefully I can be like her and be an activator and an entrepreneur someday.
We are also very excited to announce the launch of our new Instagram page. It is called RadGen SheEO. We will put the link in the chat box, and we'd really appreciate it if you followed it and commented your ideas and shared it with your friends, because it's a great place to get together.
Thank you so much, Dila and Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rolling back this way. So we're now nearing the end of our first ever simulcast. I wanted to take this opportunity to remind you all that 2018 SheEO venture applications are now open. If you're a woman entrepreneur who's creating a better world, apply today to receive funding, coaching, and the support of a network of thousands of radically generous women. To everyone on this call, please be on the lookout for women who need our support and funding, because we need their innovations to create the type of world we want to live in. Activation for 2018 is also now open on the website. And as of this moment, we are thrilled to announce our 2018 Activator numbers. Drum roll, please. Thank you, Dylan Jordan, for the drum roll. We have 42 activators in New Zealand, 103 activators in the US, 121 in Australia, and 156 in Canada. Special shout out to all the previous activators who are reactivating and those who activated live on the webcast. It's been amazing to see those notifications come in. Our goal this year is to reach at least 500 activators, which means we'll be able to fund 5 or more ventures per country. And for every 100 activators we reach above that, we'll be able to add another venture to our cohort and to support them on their journey. To quote one of our activators, Sherry Deutschman, "We can continue to be frustrated with the state of the world, or we can do something about it." If you feel inspired by what you heard tonight, please activate at www.sheo.world. That's SHEEO.world. It's a simple action with immediate positive impact, and it connects you to other women and energizes us all. We have all that we need. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our first ever global simulcast. It's Jessie at SheEO HQ signing off. Until next time, thanks so much for your time.